Hey y'all, I just left the gym, and while I was there, I was thinking over some things in my past and some things that I've been through. And I figured, it's time to share this testimony with somebody because for some time now, I've been trying to figure out how I'm going to share this testimony, how I'm going to put it in words, and how I'm going to make it so that it's not lengthy. But I'm going to try my best to not make this a long video. But um, 5 years ago, this past August 9th, I lost my grandmother. She was in a battle with ovarian cancer, and we just found out too late. And about a month, maybe a little bit under a month before she passed away, I had my first panic attack. I didn't know anything about it. I had never had one before. All I know is that it's like all the blood just rushed to my head. I got a sensation as if my whole body just went numb. My heart was racing. I was scared. Everything was turning dark and it seemed like it was closing in on me. I didn't know what I was experiencing um, until a little bit later. And then after she passed away, and I went back to school. Actually, the weekend after we buried her, I went back to college for that semester. And in the middle of that semester, I had my second panic attack. And I know this all began around those two panic attacks. I was worried for my grandmother, and I was confused as to how a person could be looking and seem like they're well at 1 second, and then the next minute they're down and sick. And my body, my mind was confused. And so I began reacting in that way, by way of having panic attacks. About June the next year, 2012, I began my bout of anxiety. Um, there were a lot of surrounding situations as to what really pushed me over that edge. I know those, like I said, those first two panic attacks had a lot to do with it, but somehow in June I just got pushed over that edge, and it sent me into about a year and a half. And a lot of people don't know this, about a year and a half of severe anxiety and depression. I woke up every morning. I hid it well because a lot of you know me as the soloist, the singer. You see me singing around, and I'm a happy person. I like to love on people. I like to hang out with people, and my personality is very colorful, and I hid behind that. And a few of my close friends and family knew what I was dealing with. But there was one point in time I didn't even want to come home because I didn't want to appear weak. And let me say something to you out there that's dealing with anxiety or depression. You are not weak, okay? You are not weak. You are dealing with this. This is something that has been placed on you. You're not weak. Don't think you're weak. Don't think that you are less than because you are dealing with this. Because a lot of people don't realize this is a real disease. This is a real sickness, okay? And they try to say, no, it's all in your head, but no, it is a real thing, okay? It's a mental disorder. So I dealt with that severe anxiety and depression. I was making trips back and forth to the emergency room every week, sometimes twice and three times a week, trying to convince the doctors and the nurses that there was something wrong with me, that they were missing something. One week it might be my liver, one week it might be my heart, one week, it might be something, wrong with my blood. I don't know. I became uh, a hypochondriac as well. So everything, and one thing that I learned is that um, you can't Google everything. And I say this a little bit jokingly because a lot of my friends know what I'm talking about when I say this, okay? I even remember one of my doctors saying, you just have a severe case of Google-itis. And I was like, you know what, that might make a lot of sense because I go on Google and I type in, why is my finger hurting? And you get all of these things that pop up saying, oh, it could be cancer, it could be an infection in your blood, it could be, anything. Anything you type in on Google, you're going to find something that's going to scare you. So stay away from Google, okay? Stay away from it. But um, I was finally taken by my mother, who was very worried about me. I was finally taken to a clinic where I was diagnosed with the severe anxiety and depression. Now, as I said, I was at the gym just a few seconds ago thinking back on all of this, and I'm telling this as a testimony and to try to help someone out, because I'm telling you now, you don't know. A lot of times you don't know who is dealing with this horrible disease of the mind. You won't be able to tell sometimes, because like myself, a lot of people can hide it and a lot of people can put a mask on it, but there are so many people out here dealing with this, okay? Some are open about it and some are embarrassed about it, but I'm telling you this to those of you who are dealing with it as a testimony, and I will go on. They gave me the medication, and you know how it is. I was already afraid of medicine because I felt like medicine was a threat to me as well. So you know how it is. You read the label and it says, this can cause anxiety, this can cause depression, this can cause... And I'm like, but isn't that what it's supposed to treat? And so I'm thinking, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not getting ready to spend a lifetime of taking this medication. To those of you who are having to deal with that, I am not, I am not calling you out and saying to stop. I'm just simply saying that I chose for myself not to deal with it. Y'all, this thing was really heavy on me. I would wake up in the morning scared for my life. I would go about my day scared for my life. I would lay down at night scared for my life. And they say the adrenaline just constantly is being, pumped out into your blood, and it's wearing down on your muscles, and it's wearing down on your energy, and it's taking everything from you, and you do start to get physically sick, okay? Because there was one while I didn't want to eat, and I share this a lot. I lost somewhere between 50 to 60 pounds within about a 5 to 6 month span. It just dropped off. No exercise. It's just the fact I wouldn't eat. And if I did eat, I worried so much that I imagine it just went right away. Okay? But it was just a horrible time for me. I was in the Lead Singers at the time, and I would go to singers services and be so tired and worn out from the stress of all this. Plus I was dealing with high blood pressure as well, and my energy, my strength would just give out, and there are times I'm up there singing and I start to have a panic attack in the middle of the song, and as I go back to watch those videos, I'm thinking, I am good at hiding this, but there are times in the middle of those songs that I would just hold my chest, and I'm like, am I going to fall dead in front of all of these people? I'm telling you, this is the kind of thing that happens, y'all, in your mind when you're dealing with this, okay? It is real. For those of you that have family members that are dealing with this, don't get upset and angry at them. And a lot of times that's because you love them so much and you want to see your loved ones doing well. And when you know there's not anything wrong with them, you can get angry because you're thinking, just be well, be well. And, I can recall times of my mom crying, and trying to talk to me and say, DJ, there's nothing wrong with you. And I'm like, Mama, there is something wrong, Don't get angry at your loved ones. Don't get angry at them. They are really dealing with something that is so serious and so hidden and is not really talked about much in our generation and in this time, but it is something that is very serious. Going back to the medication. They gave me the medication. I can recall taking half of one of the pills. After that, I decided for myself, no, I don't want to have to deal with this. So I began to look at videos on YouTube of T.D. Jakes, Bishop T.D. Jakes, giving some of his sermons on YouTube. I began listening to Tasha Cobbs, who later, I did not know this, but she came out about a year ago saying that she was dealing with depression. And I was thinking to myself, she did not even know that she was speaking to someone who was dealing with anxiety and depression. And her ministry, her songs, her worship, and praise towards God, and just God flowing through her helped to kind of guide me back to a place where I was stable in my mind, and I didn't have any idea that she was dealing with depression. And that's how our God is. Okay? I began to look at those videos, and I began to listen to some of the songs, and I prayed throughout this whole time, Lord, take this away from me, take this away from me. If you take this away from me, I will share this testimony. And I began praying and seeking God and just trying to hear what he had to say to me. And through one of my friends one day, and I had a lot of people, ministering to me and encouraging me, but one day one of my friends said, hey, DJ, I had a dream about you. And she said that in the dream, you kept saying, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. And she said what eventually happened is you began choking on those words. And then she said to me, I feel like the Lord is telling me to tell you that the power of life and death lies in your tongue. It clicked. It clicked. And at that moment on, I began the healing process. And it took some time, but I began that healing process. And now that I am on the other side of this, I just want to share with you out there. You can be healed of this. You can be delivered of this. And you are not, once again, you are not weak. Please hear me. You are not weak, okay? You are not a wimp. You are not a punk. You have an issue in your mind. There's a lot of other issues out here that people deal with that they don't want to talk about. But there's help. If you reach out to someone, there is help, okay? There is encouragement somewhere. There is peace. I found my peace in the Lord. That's where I found my peace. There is joy out there, You can get through this. Listen to me as someone who defeated it, as someone who overcame it. It can happen, okay? You can get through this. And that's what I wanted to share with y'all today, because I don't know who of my friends or family that are having to deal with this. But please find some encouragement in this video, okay? Find some encouragement in this video. And remember to wake up. I'll leave you with this one last thing. When I was sitting in that clinic, getting ready to be diagnosed and to see the counselor, there was this woman that sat next to me, and she said, "What are you doing in here?" She says, "You don't look like you have anything going on with you." I said, "It may not look like it." I said, but I am dealing with very bad anxiety and depression. And she said, "What are you scared about? What are you depressed about?" And I began to talk about some things, and she said, "Baby, let me tell you something." She said, "Look out that window." She said, "Do you see those trees?" She said, "They're beautiful, they're green, they're blowing in the wind." She said, "That is beauty. That is God's beauty that he created for you to enjoy." She said, "You are alive. You are well, honey. Just continue to speak that over yourself. You are alive and you are well." And now when I go outside to this very day, I look at the trees and they're blowing, and I listen to the wind, and I observe nature. I see the birds and the squirrels and the rabbits that hop around here a lot. And I think I'm alive. I'm still a part of God's plan. Okay? God has a plan for you. And he will not let you die in this process. So thank y'all for listening to me. God bless y'all. I love y'all from the bottom of my heart. Stay encouraged. and stay strengthened, okay? God loves you. God loves you and He cares. And He hears you every time you pray. Thank you.